YouTube, what up? Welcome back to channel Adrian TV, and y'all know me as Adrian. But before I get into today's video, y'all know what y'all need to do. Subscribe to the channel, like, and comment on the videos. Also follow me on Rumble where I post. And if you have anything you want me to react to or an ask Adrian a question, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can hit me up on one of my social media platforms. They'll be pinned in the description. Now, y'all, we are blessed on another Sunday, and I have another Sunday service. And today's Sunday service is men and women, guard your reputation with your life. I see a lot of people often mess this up. And in my personal belief, if you mess up your reputation, sometimes you cannot dig yourself up. You can't dig yourself out of that hole. So let's go ahead and get started with today's Sunday service. Now, in society, we are judged by our appearance and demeanor, and that's the barometer of most people judgments about us. And that all comes from your reputation. Like, for example, we can all think of someone. If I say to you, okay, who would be someone you would consider as being a hard worker? Instantly in your head someone pops up. Okay, who is someone you would instantly think of being a loser? Instantly, instantly, someone pops up in your head. Okay, who is somebody that you think jokes around or plays too much? Instantly, something pops in your head. You see how fast someone pops in your head about those different characteristics I ask you to think about somebody? That's why I say your reputation is so important. People judge you on it, and then once people get a read about you, and once you have a reputation, honestly, it's hard to shake unless you completely move and re-image yourself in a different state, different city. You, especially now times because of the internet, it's harder more than ever to shake a bad reputation. And and number two, your reputation can hurt you. Think about at work. At work, you know who to talk to if you want to get certain tasks done. At work, or outside of work, you know who you need to go with if you want to have a good time and go party. This is another way why reputation is so important. People will make preconceived notions about you without even knowing you all around or knowing every aspect of your personality and what you went through growing up, because that's how strong reputation is. Because I'll give you a real quick example. A younger coworker that I worked with, he would always say, he pulled me aside and he said, "Hey, why do people take you so seriously?" And I had to tell him, I'm like, it's because you joke around too much. You play too much. And I told him it's not because you don't get your work done, because you do get your work done. It's because you lead by being funny first. And he didn't understand that. So I had to literally break it down to where, you see how I come to work, I do the basic pleasantries, but I work and I may say a joke here or there, but at the end of the day, I'm very focused on getting my work done. He said, "Okay, I see that." I say, "You do the opposite. You come into work, you'll do maybe 3 to 4 jokes, then get to work." But I had to break it down to him, and he didn't understand because he's a younger man, and I had to tell him that's why people take you for a joke, or that's why people take me more seriously. It's because my demeanor, what I lead with being serious, with being more mature. You, on the other hand, you lead with being a jokester, playing around, and that often could come off as being immature or lacking maturity. It doesn't mean you're an immature person or you're not a good person. It's just that's what people are going to judge you off of. And you know what, and I'll give you another story. Because if you work hard and you get a strong reputation, regardless if people like you, your reputation will shine through that. And this is what I mean. I got in a disagreement with a coworker before, and there was another coworker that was there. She happened to be a woman, and to make a long story short, she sided with me over the man I was having an I don't want to say argument, let's say disagreement with at work. And the man said, "How can you agree with him? You said you don't like him, blah, blah, blah." And she's like, "Yeah, but I respect Adrian." And his eyebrows kind of flared up. And That's another example of why your reputation is important. Even if people don't like you or aren't friends with you or don't even want to talk to you, if you have a good enough reputation, it will shine through, because since the person agreed with me, she's a decent human being. She's like, okay, I'm not friends with Adrian. I may not necessarily like Adrian or how he moves, but I can respect his professionalism. And that's why it goes back to that example I just used. Men and women, you have to guard your reputation with your life. And that's why I always say you have to understand your image and how people perceive you. And honestly, one of the things I always stress to men, especially younger men, it's better for people to respect you on your seriousness than people coming to you to look for you as fun because you're always joking around and playing around. Now, keep in mind, even though a lot of people think I'm so serious, I do joke around. I do have a playful side, but me, my personality, I always lead with seriousness. That's just who I am. Speaking of workplaces, my advice to anyone, especially younger men and women who are graduating college and getting to the workforce, please take this advice. Any workplace you start at, work first and shut up. And you may be saying, shut up? What do you mean by that? Don't worry about being a social butterfly. Work hard, earn the respect of your peers so they respect your work ethic first. I see so many people do it backwards. They want to be a social butterfly first and then follow up with work ethic. It's going to ruin your reputation. I've had grown women either when in talking or pull me to the side, and some verbatim, not verbatim, so I'm paraphrasing, but saying that you're Adrian, you're more serious than my husband, or you're more serious than my boyfriend. And so just be, especially to men out there, just understand that, because out of anything, women see that. Why do you think women leave relationships? Because there's a saying that goes, if you get in a relationship with a woman, you took her away from another man. And I wholeheartedly agree with that because of hypergamy. And you know how I talked about hypergamy on this channel. Now, you may be saying, well, what is that hypergamy and taking a woman away? What does that have to do with women saying that you are more serious than my husband? In other words, they could see a potential of you being a protector and provider. Once women are done with the party phase and want to settle down and get them a serious relationship, what are one of the utilities I've always discussed that men have? Protection and provision. And a lot of that comes from being serious and have a good reputation. Because if you're serious about your work and have a good reputation, odds are she could count on you for being a protector and provider. Now, you may be saying, Adrian, that's for men, but what about for women? Men do the same thing towards women, but remember, it's different because we're attracted to different things. So when men find out about a woman's reputation, in other words, her promiscuous past, if she had sex with that person, that person, that person, that person, that person, and you find out, odds are you're not going to have a serious relationship with her unless you're. It's not good. So that's why reputation is important. And as a closing for this video, I just want to say, y'all, I appreciate all the support. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers, so I appreciate you on that. And then, on my Sunday service, I'm not asking for tithes and offerings. I'm not asking you to come dress up. All I'm just asking you to do is just like, comment, subscribe, or if it's a bad video, thumbs down, and in the comment section, tell me why. But remember, before you comment, are you in your feelings and are you telling the truth? Because remember, on Channel Adrian TV, we keep it 100 here. I'll see you in the next video.